when you were married, part of your identity was people pleasing.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say that you lost your identity and who you were. It's almost like you didn't know who you were, and then you found your
Yes,
identity
that's
and who
true.
you were.
That's true. Yeah,
It was.
I didn't know this. I didn't know this Dequonna.
Right.
I did not. And it's funny, Sally, because I don't care about that Dequonna.
Right.
And so people who, from when you're from home, when you're from a certain place, home can only see you the last place they last saw you.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's hard for them to see you in a different light.
Yes.
So whenever I go home to visit, it's like I know people only, not that it was a bad thing of who I was, right? But I just want people to know this Dequonna. So that I'm really, because I know this Dequonna. And so I'm really big on, I had my personal Instagram page and I shut it down. It may be still up, but I like deactivated it off mine. I can't see it. I can't activate it. And I just want to talk to the people that's choosing to follow me.
As you know, we use this platform to share stories of resilience. And today I have a very special guest.
Hey, everybody. It's Sally, your host on your Sally Allen podcast again. Welcome. Today, I have this incredible guest, and she has traveled all the way across the country because she believes so much in our podcast. She's traveled all the way across the country to be here live with us. Coach Wise, welcome. Welcome.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Now, she has an extensive background, but she gave me 3 things she wanted me to introduce her as. She's a child of God. She's a life coach, a motivational speaker, and an author. And we could just go on, but thank you for not doing that to me.
You're welcome.
I have had people giving me like half a page to read. Like,
I won't do that. I promise.
I can't read on my podcast. It's terrible. So welcome. I am so glad you're here. To give you a little background about us, we met on Instagram about 3 weeks ago.
Literally
3 weeks ago. I don't know, her feed just popped up on my Instagram. I started following her, and I'm like, this woman is incredible. I have to get to know her. I sent her a message. The next day, she messaged me back. We got on Zoom the following day, and we just felt like this was a divine connection.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? We felt this was a divine connection. Sure. So I invited her. I don't just randomly meet people and invite her to be on my podcast.
Right,
but I just thought, I'm like, okay.
But maybe you should.
I know.
Right?
Wait, you said we have to use discernment.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. Yeah.
But use your discernment first and then invite them.
And then So I invited her to, and I thought when I invited her to appear on the podcast, I thought perhaps she'll just do it via Zoom. But then I was like, you know what? Step all out and invite her to come to Vegas and see what happens. She didn't even blink when she said yes.
Yes.
And so here we are. That's the backstory about
sure.
how we've only known each other for 3 weeks. And we talk a lot about our experience and how comfortable it was. But I want you to talk a little bit about that because I'm talking too much.
No, you're fine. I think for me, it's being someone's yes because someone had to be my yes.
Yes.
And so the first thing I wanted to do was to make sure you were real because, with social media, you have so many fake pages and people sending you messages and you don't know if it's a real person. So the first thing I did, I went to your page to see who is this person? Who is she, first of all? And I absolutely love what you were doing. And I thought to myself, respond back to her. I had someone running my page at the time, so I wasn't seeing all of my messages. And so I also thought it was a reason that I saw your message. It was meant for me to see it because I think my intern at the time, she probably would have skipped right over that because we get so many inboxes and DMs. So that was the first sign. Like, you saw this message, so definitely respond back to her. And it was just something about what you said. You said a lot in the message, but I knew you were serious. And when I went to your page, I realized, okay, she's really doing amazing things in what she's doing. And so I want to say yes. I'm going to be honest. I don't know why I said yes so fast, but I knew it was a God thing in a moment to say yes to doing your podcast.
Plus, I'm verified on Instagram.
Yeah. I don't really care about that because you can pay to be verified.
Oh, is that right?
Yes, you can now pay to be verified. Yes, so
dang, and I give him my real name and my social security number, and now I didn't know you could be.
Yes, that's why I'm not. You can now pay to
Travis,
be verified.
did you know that? You can be paid to be verified?
Yeah, that's actually probably how you're verified. It's because you verified over Meta, right?
Yes.
With your
Yeah.
name and your
My
ID.
real name, my driver's
Yes.
license, my
Yep.
social security.
That's yep. So the traditionally the blue check mark, it doesn't exist. Like you're not like Kanye West now. It means
Yeah.
nothing. The blue check mark means
It
nothing.
means nothing now.
Oh.
It carries no weight. So because they allow you to purchase it now. So for me, I'm even more curious when I do see
Yeah,
it because
yeah,
now
okay.
everybody has to check. So I had to
Oh.
vet you out myself.
Yeah, well, thanks for vetting me out. I am glad you are here.
Yes.
So I met her at the airport. I had no idea. I feel, here's my thing. I felt like because I see you a lot on social media, and we got on Zoom a couple of times. I just felt like I know you so well. I
Yeah.
even forgot to ask you what you're wearing and who to look for. I feel like I am going to the airport to pick up a long-time friend.
Wow. Honestly, when I met you too today, I didn't feel like I didn't know you. You know.
Yes.
So that's the power of the social media, right? But I think it's also the power of kindred spirits
Yes.
connecting.
Yeah.
That we
yeah.
did not feel like strangers to one another.
No, we didn't. I got to the airport, and for the first time, I realized I've never seen this woman.
You said I
real.
know nothing about you.
Yeah, I said that. I said I know nothing about you, and then I had to text you like, "What are you wearing?" Because I told you, right? Every African American girl I see, I go up to her. I'm like, "Is that her?" I don't even know how your hair is today. I had no idea.
I definitely change my hair all the time.
I see that on your
Yes,
social media.
yes, I change my
That's
hair
why
all the
it occurred to
time.
me.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I can't look for her by her hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you said that about social media because I think we should use that platform to make sure we feel relatable
Yes.
and that people feel like they know you because I can connect with you better, right? So the fact that you said, I felt like I know you because I see you all the time. We have to stay
Yes.
relevant in that world, of course, in a positive light.
Yes.
But it's important
I
to stay
agree.
relevant in that space. So thank you.
Well, you are welcome. Here's the other crazy part of it. I invited her to stay at my house.
She did. That was the first thing. She's like, you can just stay with me. And I was like, I don't know. I don't know. But God is great. I will say that. He's amazing. He is.
But you said, I don't know, but you're like, that doesn't sound weird though for
it
some
didn't
reason.
sound weird, but it was like in the world today, it's insane,
Yeah.
right? That's crazy.
Yeah.
You could be a killer.
Right.
But literally, you could have gone to my DM and was like, I'm just a psychopath.
and I Chucky doll
yeah,
killer.
yes. Yeah. But no, I have this thing where I have
Yeah.
great discernment.
Yes.
And I know when it's God speaking. And so
Yeah.
it
And I
didn't-
feel I have the same discernment. And, there is a saying in the Bible that when hearts are intertwined, and I just felt like something like
Yeah.
that happened
yeah,
between us.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Even our stories, they're like parallel.
Yes.
It's not ironic that you typed in. I think you said you typed in life coaches or something,
Yeah.
and I popped up. I mean, I love what I do and who I am,
Yeah.
but I am not a celebrity. I don't have 1 million followers. So the
Right.
fact that I even popped up in your feed
Right.
was shocking to me. That was another thing. It was like God was like, say yes to her. So whatever
Yeah.
you're building, whatever you're praying for, whatever you're asking for, God is listening because
Yeah.
I'm only been obedient to His voice while I'm here today.
Yeah, and you've only been here for a few hours, and I feel like you've already added so much value to my life.
Wow.
And it's been so inspiring to talk to you. What's been even crazy, what's been crazier is that you mentioned how parallel our story
Mm-hmm.
ran. Our lives, our
Mhm,
career,
mhm,
paths are the
mhm.
same. Like, it's just,
Yes.
what's the message here for people? We're talking about how incredible this is, you and I meeting,
Mm-hmm.
in this crazy way. But what's the message for people out there? Because you and I were also talking about people don't want to come out and meet people and do things.
Mm-hmm.
What should be the message out there?
Do it scared.
Mm,
Do it scared because I think we talked about this too earlier. COVID has created this space where everybody feels comfortable staying away
yes.
from everyone. And so we don't have that community that we're building anymore, right? For me, it's very important, especially as a coach, is to encourage people to come out of their comfort zone and be uncomfortable sometimes, meaning you have to connect with other individuals. If you want to grow and tap into who you really, truly are, you can't do that alone.
Right.
We weren't
right.
put here to do life alone, right? So I think for me, it's to say, as crazy as this may seem, it's ordained. And if it's crazy, maybe it's God. You know, of course, pray about it. Ask God, is this what you would want me to do? But I will say for sure, for certain, that we need to get to a place in life where we can do stuff. We can do some crazy stuff, but we know that was God telling us to do it. And don't be afraid. Fear holds us back, one. I think you said laziness earlier, but that unknown. We
Yes.
don't know what to expect. Like this, honestly, on paper would look crazy.
Right.
But I think people like that really make it in life, these are their stories. Like they met somebody because it was something crazy that happened and they weren't afraid to kind of build that connection. And I think that's what you and I did. It was like, as crazy as it sounds, it's a reason that we're connecting. And for me, it was like, yeah, hop on a plane, go to Vegas. Maybe your voice is needed in Vegas, right? Maybe your voice is needed in Charlotte, North Carolina. So it's a reason for everything. And a lot of times we're turning down opportunities out of fear or what seems crazy. And it's really what
Yeah.
you should be doing all along.
I like that you brought up COVID because one of the things we talked about the whole podcast before we got on here. So
Yes, we did.
so we keep saying one of the things we talked
Yeah.
about was me being an extremely extroverted.
Yeah.
And during those 2 years that I stayed at home, I was starting to like it.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a sense of laziness, and like I don't want to go there. To me, like I like sitting at home and being at home. You adapt as human. We adapt really well,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And when it comes to like that, not doing anything, we adapt even quicker to that.
Yeah.
Right. And I told you I used to love going to coffee shops and all of that. So it took me about a full year to get back to really loving going out there and meeting people and going to the coffee shops and working out of the coffee shops.
So you didn't miss it? You actually began to embrace it?
I began, at first I missed it. Then I quit the corporate world. I stopped thinking about that. I started my business, my book and everything, and I didn't have time to miss it. And then I kind of love getting up from my bed and just walk into my office.
Yeah.
Right? So
It's
then
convenient.
it's convenient.
Yeah.
And I stopped missing it because what happened was I consulted for an HR firm and I got a team right away. So I have a team on Zoom that I'm always seeing and connecting with. And I stopped missing going out.
It was a new way of living, right?
Yes. And I adapted.
Yeah, for sure. I think for me, I became more creative. I think
Yeah.
I found other ways to work. But as soon as we could go outside again, I wanted to be outside. Like I
Yeah.
couldn't wait to start doing my trainings again. I love human interaction.
Yes.
I understand how important the energies are and frequencies are,
Yeah.
and that I'm my best a lot of the times when I'm around other like-minded individuals.
Yes.
Something about the screen. It was cool, and it was actually I made the most I've ever made in coaching during COVID.
Right.
Because it was a time that people needed to talk. They were going
Yes.
crazy. So for coaches and therapists, we were booming.
We were booming,
like,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
But for me, people were hurting. People were in a
Yeah.
dark place, in a dark space. So for me, I was like hoping that we can get back outside.
Yeah.
Because what happened has happened. Now people are used to being inside, but they're stuck in these dark spaces still.
Yes.
And so how do we get
Yes.
people out of that? Because you need to get out and do life. And again, like I said a few minutes ago, you cannot do life alone. And that if that's where you are, that's not a good place to be. I think
Right.
if we've learned to adapt to doing things by ourselves, that's not something to be proud of.
Right. Totally. And I totally agree with that. So from the different perspective, what I would say is I forced myself to
Yes.
get out and do things. Right?
How did it affect
Yes.
you? I know you're interviewing me, but I'm just curious. How did it affect you mentally?
You know what? It affected me without me realizing it was affecting me. Because I thought when I adapted, I'm okay with it. I'm versatile, so
Yeah.
I'm okay with it. But once I started going out and I started realizing, man, I really miss this.
Yeah.
So I had to do it more and
Yeah.
do it more. And then I'm like, okay, I'm out again. I look forward to go out with my friends. I look forward for me alone to go to a coffee shop and do people watching, which is something I love to do.
Oh, me too.
Yeah. Yeah. So you don't realize, you adapt, you're like, I'm okay, I can deal with this. But once I get out there, I realize, man, I really miss this.
Yeah.
But we're also talking about building community and going out there. And one of the things we're saying for people who've gotten comfortable being at home, the polls before COVID had shown that over 50% of Americans struggle with loneliness. So just imagine after COVID, I don't even want to think about that number. The suicide rate is so high right
Absolutely.
now,
Absolutely.
especially in elderly people. It's just, it blows my mind. I saw the statistics somewhere. So how do we get people out?
First we have to do is be comfortable with building community. I don't think
Yeah.
anyone wants to really build it anymore. It's like,
I agree.
you know what I'm saying? Like we have to get back to having events outside of just being home. So who are going to do those things? So
Yeah.
we have to lead the charge. I love hosting events in Charlotte, North Carolina. I do industry nights, I do conferences, but we have to actually create a space for people to feel safe coming to. Because I think during COVID, people realized a lot of issues that they had that they were able to kind of cover up because you were busy every day.
Yeah.
So you was not forced to deal with your flaws or your demons, so to speak, right?
Yes.
When COVID happened and you was forced to stay home with nowhere to go, you wasn't really busy, you was forced to deal with some stuff.
Yes.
So now it's like, where do I go to feel comfortable in my own skin and feel safe? And so it's about going around people or finding community that you can go in and feel safe, I think is very important. So wherever you may be in this world, you need to research what's out there for me. Like who has something. Like I know you're building community right now.
Yes.
I'm building community in Charlotte. Like find a tribe
Yes.
that works for you and be involved and get involved, even if it's just outreach. You know, giving back. Giving back is always a great place to start because you feel
Yes.
well when you're giving, right? So start there. Just start by trying to attach yourself to a group or a tribe in your
Yeah.
community.
Yeah, I always tell people when my clients are asking, you know, I'm lonely, I don't have anything to do. I say, I challenge you to go volunteer,
Yes.
even if it's once a month.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, people always say that. You're right. When I give back, it feels so good
It does.
because
It
you're not
does.
focused on you, right? When you focus on
It's
you,
a feeling. It's a different feeling
Yeah.
that you get when you're giving something and the person you're giving it to is truly in need.
oh man, it's just such an amazing feeling when you see that smile and you know that you've made an
Yeah,
impact in someone's
absolutely.
life. It's just an incredible feeling.
So do that.
Yeah.
Do that. Go give back.
Start there.
Yeah.
And once we get our community up and running, come join us.
Come join us. Yeah, because
Yeah.
you got to get healthy. I think sometimes we're expecting people to be able to be and show up in spaces they're not healthy enough to show up in.
Yeah.
So therapy, coaching, I am super, like I'm going to always push those two things simultaneously
yes.
because we know the role of a therapist, which I think everyone should have one at some point in life. In my culture, we were always taught that what goes on in the house stays in the house. I don't know about
Yes,
you, but you were
yes.
not to talk about anything that happened in the home.
Yes.
So I didn't have a therapist until I was like late 30s,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So, well, mid 30s, but that was detrimental to me, you know, because once I got a therapist, I was like, where have you been all my life?
Yes.
I
yes,
needed
yes.
this. And then as being a coach, it was important for me to make sure I took those necessary steps because I can't tell my client you need a therapist if I haven't
That's
talked
right.
to a therapist.
That's right.
I
yeah.
can't tell my client to get a coach if I don't have a
Have a
coach.
coach.
But
Yes.
it's so important to have someone that you can talk to and dump because we're not meant to hold on to stuff. So I will say that to anyone that's struggling out there too. Make sure you have a team that is supporting you mentally.
Yes. Yeah.
You know that you trust. So for
And
sure.
you're and as much as you love your friends, they don't have the expertise and the
No,
skill.
that's good. That's really good to talk about. I think we put too much pressure on our friends sometimes
Yes.
because we're expecting them to be something to us they don't have the capacity
have
for,
capacity to
or
be.
they're not even experienced.
Yes.
They could be
yes.
suffering just like you are. That's why it's so important to go talk to an expert.
Yeah. And your friends wants to make you feel better, so they're gonna tell you things to make you feel better. Whereas with the expert wants you to be healthy.
Yes,
So
for
they're
sure.
gonna tell you the hard things you need to do to be
For sure.
healthy.
For sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So we talked about our career path and how that ran just so parallel,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Why did you we both started off as receptionists.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Why did you want to go into coaching?
Coaching found me. I didn't want to go into coaching. I always tell people
interesting.
that coaching
Coaching
found
found
me.
you. Yeah, okay,
My
tell us.
purpose found me. I was going through a divorce. I was in a dark place. When I say dark, wasn't suicidal or anything like that. I just didn't know what was next.
Right.
When you are married and you put your family into this space, and when that's now no longer, it's like, what am I going to do with this time that I now have? What am I going to do with the income I no longer have? So you find yourself trying to figure things out. And so literally I was pretending, which I did my whole life. And that's a long story. But I learned how to pretend from a little girl because growing up, I didn't grow up. My dad is a pastor, thank God now, but I didn't grow up with my dad being a pastor, right? So my life wasn't always safe. I never really felt safe. So I did really well with pretending that I'd lived somewhere else, or I had a different family. Not that my family was bad. It's just, it wasn't to me. I didn't feel safe as a little girl, right? And as I got older, I continued that. Like I was a people pleaser. Like I pretended to be happy. If you were happy, I was happy. So I would make you happy at the expense of my own happiness. I didn't understand what I was doing until after my divorce. Like when I was going through it, I was like, I'm not happy. But I didn't realize that. When I was connected to my husband, I didn't realize how I really wasn't happy. I knew I wasn't happy, but it was like, you're not happy with yourself because you've been pretending. Nothing no one else did is you, right? I had to fix me. And so I feel like I was always the person giving advice on social media. I was always posting inspirational message on Facebook. Always, always, always. I would blog. People would go like, oh, your words help me. And then finally I saw Tony Gaskins one night on TV coaching. And I was like, what is this? Because I do this all the time. What is this?
Yeah.
And when I Googled it, it was life coaching. And so I just began to like do more research, and I realized then this is what I do. And God was like, this is what you will do. Like, this is your calling. This is what I'm going to call you to do to help other people in this world. And so that's kind of how I found coaching.
You know what? I love that because one of the things I think there's a plethora of coaches out there.
Yes, absolutely. You're just not getting paid.
Yeah.
Yet.
But what I feel set the coaches apart from each other is that one, it's a calling.
Come on, let's talk about it. It's definitely a calling, not a career.
It's not a career. And two, you genuinely have to care about people and want to change their lives.
And I love people. I love people so much that I was loving people more than I loved me.
Yeah.
And that was
you
not
have to set that boundary.
Yes, I had definitely set that boundary, right? And understand that wasn't healthy.
Yes.
I couldn't be as successful as I am today if I didn't learn that I had to love Dequonna first, and then I can love everyone else.
Yeah. If you're in it for the money, it's not going to work.
No, and it's
because it's hard to. Like we gotta
let's be
hustle.
honest. Let's be honest. Coaching is
hustling.
not a space where you're going to get rich in coaching. I always say it's just a beginning.
Right.
It's the other things that comes with it.
Right.
So so now I do motivational speaking.
Right.
It encouraged me to write a book. We all have a story in us. We all have a book in us. It's just a matter of, do you know how to tell your story, and are you willing to tell your story?
Right. Right.
Everyone can't be a coach only because, yes, it is a calling. And a deeper piece of that is everyone can give advice. Anyone can give you some great advice.
That's right.
But do you want to hold someone accountable? Do you want to give them a plan of action? Do you want to talk to someone every week to say, hey, did you do X, Y, Z? That may not be what no, I don't have time to do
People
that.
don't have
right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's not what I want to do. I can just make you feel good every now and again, but I do not want to. Being accountable for someone's life is deep.
It's very, very deep. And when they're paying you to actually transform,
it's nothing to play with.
It's nothing to play with. It's serious because they're looking at you for transformation.
Yes.
And you know, on that note, I have actually fired clients.
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm not going to take your money if you are not serious about your transformation. That's because good. I look bad.
That's integrity, and everybody don't have that, right? So you want to be honest with your clients when you don't see any growth, or if they're just not ready quite yet.
Right.
I'm the same way. Because if you're not ready to work, then I don't have the time to waste. Not that I don't believe in you, but I can't believe in you more than you believe in you.
Believe in yourself. Yeah. And you're wasting your money and my time.
Yes. Yeah.
So absolutely. I had a question and that ball made it flew out of my head.
What?
Oh man, I forgot that question that I had. But okay, it stopped. All right.
It's okay.
It just made me go completely blank.
Reset.
Travis.
Don't you love when that happens?
Yeah.
Let's go. That conversation was going really well. So tell me, what type of coaching do you do?
That's a great question. I do relationship coaching, business coaching, purpose coaching, and a lot of my clients calls me the execution coach because I'm really good at helping you execute your plans.
Right.
But business coaching is like probably my top seller. because I love helping you take an idea and manifesting it into what your business should be, right? And so just helping my clients understand that everyone's not going to be an entrepreneur.
Right.
And I don't push that on everybody because your calling could be at your 9 to 5.
Yes.
But we all have something else in us outside of that we can be working on. So you can do some things simultaneously. Like I never say quit your job and just jump out there and be an entrepreneur, right? Because
Right.
some people are just doing it just because other people are. And it's like, I want to own my own business. But it's never ending when you're an entrepreneur. Like it's no 9 to 5. It's no, I get off at 2:00 today.
Girl, we
Right?
talk about that.
Yes. It's no,
It's
it's really hard
it's
work.
hard work.
But so those are all the realms that I coach in, but I really, truly love execution and business coaching.
Yeah. What is your book about?
So my book is 8 Layers of Division Among Women. I'm working on my second book right now. But the first book is truly about the 8 things that I felt divided us as women in this world. And it started out as a speech. It was my first speech ever. I went to speak about this, and God was telling me, like, don't do the fluff. Because it was a women's conference.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
just talk about, oh, we're beautiful and we're resilient and
Yeah, and we're all made in the image of God, and we're gonna be.
it was
fine.
like tear them down to build them up. Let's
Yeah,
be honest
yeah.
about who we really are as women and how
Yeah.
difficult we can be and how mean we can be to one another, how cold we can be to one another. And so what are those 8 things? And so I wrote about the 8 things that I felt divided us. But it's really cute how I did it because I give them identities. So for instance, I'll give you one. I had jealousy is one, right? And it was like AKA the silent killer. Because if we're friends, you can naturally be jealous of something that I have that you don't, and you never speak about it, you never talk about it. So it's silently killing our relationship without you knowing it because we're not talking about it. So it's just talking about all of those things, but I also encourage you to write and journal. Like if this is you, when did this start? Like when can you pinpoint this happening? Where did that come from? Where did that feeling come from? And then what do you want to do about it? So it's really calling you to be accountable to yourself and be honest with yourself if you're one of these layers in the book. And we're peeling back these layers to get to the real core of who you are and how you can be better to another woman.
I like that a lot. I'm gonna have to get your book.
Yes, you can get it's an ebook read too. So
Okay. So I remember now what I was going to ask you before I got distracted. We started talking about, you were talking about when you were married. Part of your identity was people pleasing. Right? And I can't say that you lost your identity and who you were. It's almost like you didn't know who you were, and then you found your identity.
Yes, that's
and who
true.
You were.
That's true. Yeah, I didn't know this. I didn't know this Dequonna.
Right.
I did not. And it's funny, Sally, because I don't care about that Dequonna.
Right.
And so people who, when you're from home, when you're from a certain place, home can only see you the last place they last saw you.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's hard for them to see you in a different light.
Yes.
So whenever I go home to visit, it's like I know people only, not that it was a bad thing of who I was, right? But I just want people to know this Dequonna. So that I'm really, because I know this Dequonna. And so I'm really big on, I had my personal Instagram page and I shut it down. It may be still up, but I like deactivated it off mine. I can't see it. I can't activate it. And I just want to talk to the people that's choosing to follow me on this journey. So like if you had access to me 6 years ago, you don't know me. You know, and so I would encourage you to follow me on this journey. So come follow me on my life coaching page because this is who I truly am. Not that I'm still not the fun me, the vibrant me, not saying I hated who I was. It's just I now know who I am and in tune, in alignment.
That's right.
With who God has called me to be.
That's right.
And so I'm operating in that space and I love this person. So
she was always there. She just needed to be discovered.
Yes.
I like what you said. That's such an important point to make because I had started to tell you that when I was in the corporate world, my former role that I was in, right, I was in that role for quite a few years. And when I elevated into a new role, people couldn't see me in the new role. They kind of boxed me into this role that I was in. And it continued. It also continued to a point where I had to leave.
To suffocate you.
Yeah, I had to leave because they couldn't see my potential. And when I left and went to people who don't know me, like you created your new page, I had to go to people who didn't know me and I got to shine.
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
yeah. And because when they're suffocating you here, you can't shine to your full potential over here.
Yeah.
People don't have
Yeah.
belief in you.
Yeah. And it's just that. They just know you and they like you there. Like that's the thing.
Oh,
When you're
yes.
changing and when you're growing and when you're evolving,
Yes.
it's hard for your friends, your current friends. Sometimes they don't get it. It's like, no, no, no. I like the girl
I
who
like the
did
girl who
this.
did this. Yeah.
And I understand that. It's like they're
Yes.
losing someone. It's almost like a death.
Right.
So I truly understand that feeling, but I also understand too that I was suffocating and dying being that person
Right.
for you to like.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And sometimes you got to leave them behind.
Yes. I think when
Yeah.
you I think we talked about this earlier too, but
I know.
this is something that I've adopted in my life and I talk about it every chance I get, especially to my clients.
Mm-hmm.
And that's understanding when your assignment is over.
Yes. And I just love the way you put it, understanding when your assignment is over. I
Yes.
usually say understanding when the season is over, but when it says assignment, I love that because assignment tells me it's short term.
Mhm.
It's you have a particular assignment and project, and when that project is completed and over, and you know it's time to go,
You know.
it's time to go.
You know when you
You
overstay.
pack up and you go.
And it's not
Yes.
easy. You know, we can
No,
say,
it's not
it's
easy.
not
Yes,
easy.
it's not easy.
But it's also not easy staying either. So yeah, I have this thing where I say I make it really easy to stay in my life and I make it really easy to go because
Right.
it's not even just about Dequonna wanting to leave a situation. Sometimes people have to leave you for themselves, whatever that may
Totally,
be. It's not that it's
totally.
a bad thing. Again, it's just the assignment is over. The reason we came into contact was to fulfill a certain thing, and we
Yes.
did that. And it's time to move on to something else because maybe somebody else needs this new version of you.
Right.
And we were only meant to do this version together. And I'm just learning that without it being messy and ugly and mean. I wasn't always like this. Like, it wasn't like I was this peaceful person. I was a firecracker. Let me tell you, do not leave me. Where are you going?
Well,
But-
we did talk about that. Part of the wisdom comes with it comes with experience. It comes with age,
Absolutely.
and it also comes with finding who you are. Because when you know who you are,
Yeah.
you know the people you want in your life, and you know exactly what you want out of life.
Yes.
And if that doesn't align with the people who are currently there, it's okay to let them go.
It's okay.
It's quite okay. And I was telling you also what I did when I had to let a bunch
Yeah.
of people go.
That was
And
good.
That was right. I just waited. I gave them a chance and I waited and I realized these are not my people.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's okay too. Because when I closed those doors, guess what? I found my people.
You found your people.
I found my people. And the thing is, I found exactly what I was looking for. I didn't even
Talk
know.
about that because that's when you told me today. I thought that was interesting. We don't have to go through the whole story, but the fact that what you thought you lost, you gained within a week. You said, right?
Yes. I gained so okay, I told you so many things today. But when I closed that door on that particular person that if I've only met, had friends for a minute and I thought we're going to be best friends forever. And within a few months, I was walking on eggshells around this person.
Yeah.
And I realized my mental health was not in a good place. And thank goodness I have an awesome BFF, which I said, does this sound right? And she's like, that's abuse. You got to close that door. And the moment I closed that door, I found someone who does the same thing, the same
Right,
thing that I
right,
wanted to accomplish.
Right. Yeah.
Here comes you a minute later. Like just a week later, I found you.
I think I asked you that because I think that it's important for us to be in position.
Yes.
And you said earlier that I now do this so I can receive what God has for
Yes.
me, right? I have my hands wide open. I think a lot of times that we're not in position and we can't receive, or we're doing something that we think we should be doing because someone
Right.
else is doing or someone told us we should be doing that thing.
Oh, yeah.
And just because you're good, I like to say, just because you're good at something does not mean you should be doing that thing.
That's right.
You really,
That's
because
right.
you can be good at many things, and
Yeah.
you can actually do all of them if you have the capacity for it, right? But just because someone, like for me, event planning is how it started. I loved it. 19 years old, had my own business, and when I stopped doing it, everybody was like, "Are you crazy? Like,
Right.
why'd you stop doing weddings?" You made so much money. And it's like when God is calling you to something, it's
Yeah.
almost like you can make a choice, but you really don't have a choice.
Right. Right.
He's gonna you're gonna just go or he's gonna drag you to it. Which do you want? Because I love what I did, but I was no longer really flourishing. It wasn't flowing. It was like really difficult. Clients were difficult. When I started coaching, my whole world changed. The people I met, like not everything flows. The opportunities that has come my way, I wouldn't be doing half of the things that I'm doing right now if I didn't say yes to coaching.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
I get that. It's same with me. If we go back to when I closed that door on corporate America, I wouldn't have been
Yeah.
doing, even my podcast, I wouldn't have been doing
Yeah,
this. I wouldn't have
sure.
finished my book. I would have never started my coaching business because it was always a hobby,
Mm-hmm.
right? It would have continued to be a hobby. And it is my true passion.
It's your calling.
It's my calling. Sitting in front of my clients is my happiest place. And I have been doing this for close to 10 years.
Yeah.
And I'm not tired of it.
Yeah.
So you know when it's your calling.
Yep. You pivot. You don't ever really get tired of it. You just pivot and go into the next transition of what it should look like.
Yeah.
Whether you want to keep doing individual, group,
Yeah.
speaking, whatever that may look like in your courses, building courses, trainings, instructing, whatever it may be. I just think that you get better and better over time, though.
Yeah. So you have built this amazing community.
Yes.
Talk to us about how you went about building this community. For anybody who's listened to this, we started talking about this before and they don't have community,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's so much resiliency in community,
Yeah.
and mental resiliency, physical resiliency, because we want to be better when we are in community, right? We see people, like-minded people, and we want to be like that. So how did you build your community?
Prayer, right?
Yeah.
And then God just led me to the right people. Social media. I'm telling you, social media is
Yeah.
what you make it.
Yeah.
But I told one of my friends that I was really in need of a tribe. I need
Right.
some people around me that understands this life coaching journey, but just also understand that I'm embarking on something bigger than me.
Yeah.
And the group of friends that I have still to this day, and I love my friends, I love my best friends, and they're all my best friends. They give me what I need, right? When I need to go back and just be Dequonna and cry and lay and vent, they have my back. They're like, who did it and where are they? Like
Yeah,
those, right? But I also need the community and the tribe of who's doing exactly what I'm doing that I can grow and learn from, and we can like bounce off of each other, right? Because I don't know everything,
Right.
and you stop growing the minute you think you do. And so I needed a tribe. I felt like I was starving. Like I need more. I had
Right.
Tony as my mentor, and he made something very clear to me one day. He said, "You need to find women, though." But something happened on my journey that I no longer trusted women, and
Okay.
so I purposely stayed away
Mm-hmm.
from meeting new women.
Right. Right.
And he said, you have to find a tribe of women that's coaches. And I was just like, nope, I'm not interested in finding new friends. Like something tragic happened, traumatic happened. And that was just something I wasn't willing to do. But finally, I prayed about it. God opened the door. I met a friend of mine, good friend of mine now. Her name is Jacinda Jacobs in Charlotte. And she had this Bible study that she did. And someone showed me her page, and I messaged her on Instagram.
Uh-huh.
And she responded just like I responded to you
Yeah.
and said, I would love to have you come to one of my Bible studies to meet you. We met. And since then, we've been inseparable with doing things in the community together. So from there, I met other women that were like-minded. And from there, I began to build my own tribe. Also, not just my own tribe, but also giving people space to come and build a tribe for themselves.
Yeah.
So for me, it was prayer and just not being afraid to reach out to someone that was doing what I wanted to do. And
Yeah.
from there, it took off.
Yeah. I feel you have two choices.
Yeah.
You can either join somebody else's community, which is hard,
Mm-hmm.
right? People, we talk about the clickiness that we've seen, even in networking events.
Yes.
Or you can just build your own.
Yes.
And why not?
Why not?
But that realization just came to me. And I think it's not even a realization that came. I think when you are ready, right? When you are ready
Mm-hmm.
and you do this,
Mm-hmm.
then you get those ideas.
Yes.
Because for the longest while, I was go to everybody's else networking event.
Yeah.
And obviously, all these years, I didn't get what I was looking
Yeah.
for. And finally, around summer of this year, a seed started growing in my head. Right? You know, this, why not you? Why not build your own?
Create what you wish to see.
Create what you wish to see, right? And that's when I started, you know what? I'm going to keep my hands open and ask for it and send me the right people to help me do it.
And that's so good. I think we share that because I used to go to conferences a lot.
Yeah.
And a lot of women don't like conferences to this day because of that same reason. You go and you leave empty, or you leave feeling inadequate.
Right.
Like you didn't really belong, because when you get there, sometimes the topics are so far over your head, like how I became a millionaire.
Yes.
Or these topics where you just feel like I can't even attain that yet.
Even the speakers.
Even that's my point. The speakers, right? So you leave feeling like I didn't connect with anyone in that room, because a lot of times everybody in the room are just there for the person that's on stage.
Right.
So what I said was, instead of complaining, because I'm not knocking anybody's conferences, you do what works for you, what works for you, and you attend whatever you want to attend, right? For me, I wanted women to come to my conference and feel like I met a friend. I didn't leave the way that I came. And I too can like be here in this space and learn and grow. I felt like I belonged in that room. So that's what I created. I created a space where I don't invite speakers or panelists unless my guests can have access to them.
Yes.
Like they have to be able to come up and talk to you after. Nothing's a big ask. We're not trying to sell them anything at my conference.
That's right.
It's truly coming to talk about a topic or a need and making sure women can connect and not leave the way that they came. And if they are in need of a tribe, hopefully they met somebody there. So you have to meet someone new at my conference. You cannot leave my conference without meeting someone new and making a connection.
I just love that.
Yeah.
I just love that. So how do you do that? Like, do you
Well,
do
I
you
create
announce it? Do you
games.
create
No,
games?
I create games. I create table topics where it's going to push you to have to talk to other women. And you'll find out quickly, like, oh my God, I love her.
Right.
But if we just look at someone walk in the room and may look at what they have on and what they're wearing and how they smell, you may feel like, oh, she's away.
Right.
Until you have a conversation and you go, we're just alike.
Mm.
So I create ways and different activities that you get to know another woman.
I love that. I can't wait to come to your conference.
Yes.
Yeah, we're going to have one in Vegas.
We're going to have one in Vegas. I'm serious. I would definitely come here and do a conference. For sure.
And you know what? This is her first time in Vegas.
First time. And I love it here.
We didn't tell you guys that. She loves it here. She loves the vibes. She loves how it's feeling here.
Yes. I may not come back, Shirley. I might come back to visit you guys and see my kids.
Yeah.
But no, it's been amazing here since I got off the plane. It's just the energy here. And again, I think I told you earlier that my prayer in 2023 was, God, I'll go wherever you tell me to go, and I'll do whatever you tell me to do. And in this season, it was like, light the city up with your light.
Right.
With your light, with your gift. And I always pray that he hides me in his light, because this world is crazy. And I'm not here to be a celebrity or to be famous. I'm just here to be purposeful and impactful. And so wherever he leads me to go and whatever he wants me to do, that's what I want to do. And that's why I don't take this for granted. You know, when someone reaches out to you and say, hey, I love what you're doing, I would love to have you as a guest, why would I say no to that? Like, why would I tell you no if this is truly who I've been called to be?
Yeah.
Unless I'm fake or phony or I can't back it up. But I think we all should be giving each other these platforms to come and talk and spread our light.
Yeah. You know what? And there is so much space, like hold space for people to do that, because there's so much cattiness out there. We have to hold space for each other and be there for each other. I think it's so crucial.
Yeah.
I have to tell you, one thing that inspired me on your page was your authenticity. In your car, I love your
Car Chronicles.
Car Chronicles. Yeah. You're just being yourself.
Yeah.
You're just driving, talking. And I love that. And I mentioned to you, I started doing that in my car. My inspiration comes when I'm in my car.
Yeah,
why not?
Right.
Yeah, if it stresses me out if I'm standing out, I'm working and in the middle of work, oh my gosh, I didn't post on Instagram today, I have to go. It stresses the heck out of me.
Flow.
Yeah.
I operate in flow.
In flow. You have to operate in flow, because I can't switch. Like, you and I were driving here, and normally when I'm driving by myself, I have to get mentally prepared. Even though Friday is my day when I can do this, I have to get mentally prepared. So I would blast my music all the way up. Right, my Jesus music. All the way up, all the way up, all the way here. And if I don't feel like I have enough, I'll sit in the parking lot before I come in.
Yeah.
And I'll make sure I'm consumed by that. My whole body is like, okay, I'm ready to go. So I think you're right. Flow is so important. I don't know what we were talking about and got into flow. But but flow is important.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have an event tonight
Yes, we do. I'm
that
excited.
we have to get to, but I can
Yes.
talk to you all day. I feel it like it is so easy to talk to you, and we
Thank
flow
you.
so well together.
Yes. Well, thank you. I
Yeah.
feel like it too. I think coaches should be easy to talk to, right?
Yeah.
I think we should be. And I think we need, like you said, create space for each other, especially coaches.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
not a competition. We really need to create a space for coaches. And so that's even on my website. It's called the Wise Coaching Collective because I want to bring in more coaches
Yes.
to be in that space, to carry space and hold space for women and men, not just women.
Yes.
I've recently opened my audience up to men because I normally cater to women.
Yeah.
But this year was my first year. My conference this year was the Inspired Lifestyle Conference, and it was for men and women. And men came out and they were very vulnerable, which is what I prayed for.
Yes.
So I'm super excited about this next leg of what I get to do for men as well as
Yes.
women because they need it.
They do.
They need it.
More than you know, they
Yeah.
do because it's hard for them to build community the way women
Yes,
do.
for sure.
Right? We're quick, we're easy. We can do
Yeah.
that, but it's so hard for them.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm excited about tonight. I'm excited
about
yeah.
tonight. Yes, I am. I'm really excited, and I'm really excited what we're gonna do after.
Yes, because she's going to show me Vegas, guys.
Yeah. So with that, do you have a takeaway for our audience?
What is my takeaway? I want to say, because we talked about a lot, but I want to say get in position.
Mm.
Whoever I'm talking to right now, I want to encourage you to get in position. And once you're in position, things will align. And once things align, they will flow.
It will flow. Thank you so much. And mine is when you hear that calling, answer it. Answer it when you hear that calling. And one of the things you said that I want to leave them with also is that when someone has said yes to you and they've blessed your
on.
life, pay it forward.
Pay it forward.
Pay it forward and say yes to someone else. Someone said yes to her and changed her life. And she said yes to me because she thinks she can come. I know. Not think. You know. You can come here and make an impact.
Yeah.
So with that, friends, it's a wrap. Until next time.
Thank you.